Hey guys, Tyler here, and this is the Garage Warrior podcast and video cast. And as you can see, I have a lovely lady on the other side. If you guys are listening, I have Lori Kennedy, and Lori is the founder of Wow Weight Loss. It's an international weight loss company. She smiles when I say international because they just went international right now. And they've helped thousands of people drop some body fat. But the reason why I brought her on the call is because she has distilled a lot of great information from coaching so many people, and she's going to share that with us today. So Lori, how is it going?
It's going well, thank you. Happy to be here.
All right, thank you so much for taking your time and everything. Lori and I had met a while back, and she's just been building this immense business in Canada, the United States, and now where else? Where are we going internationally?
We just opened a new location in Egypt, actually, for our first international. Yeah, in Egypt of all places.
Oh wow, that's incredible.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
she's branching out with her ideas. And Lori, for people who don't know who you are, I gave you a little intro there, but what's your 50,000 mile view? How did you come to where you are at today, and what are you hoping to teach the world?
Sure. So I got to the place that I'm in now because I suffered from severe digestive system issues. I can remember being 17 years old and having to pull my car over. I drove a tracker to throw up. I would sporadically throw up. I was 17 years old, carrying around a bottle of Maalox. Never left the house without it.
Yeah.
It was really bad. It probably didn't help that I was eating McDonald's every day back then, but it was next to my high school, and that's where we went for lunch. And so it manifested for me into severe digestive system issues. And I went to doctors. I had, more tests than you can count on both hands from both ends of my body. And after all of these tests were done, the doctors were looking at me and saying, "You're fine. You have acid reflux," and handed me a prescription for Prevacid. And I was 18 years old, and I was 40 pounds overweight, and I was tired. And I knew that at 18 that this couldn't be my life. I couldn't feel like this. I couldn't live like that. And so I went away to university. I traveled Europe, and my body in Greece both imploded and exploded at the same time. And it was a pretty picture. And I ended up in a hospital in Greece, and I came home and I went to a naturopath. And so she described to me what we were talking about before, leaky gut syndrome and candida. And she gave me a very strict protocol to follow. And I did that for my first year away from home in university at Concordia in Montreal. For 8 months, I didn't touch anything that I didn't make myself. I lost 40 pounds. I healed my stomach. And that sort of got me on the path to whole foods, nutrition, understanding the digestive system, and really wanting to be a light at the end of the tunnel for other people who are searching for their own answers and are unable to find them through the medical institution.
Yeah, that's such a great story. Lori, I've known you for probably over a year now, and I didn't know that extreme of a background. And I think that's just such a great thing to share with everybody, because I have a lot of people on these podcasts, and some of them, maybe they had good genetics and they had like healthy background and they're still healthy and teaching those things. But I find that the people who really suffered the hardships are the ones who really are passionate about helping other people. And so thanks for sharing that story. It sounds a lot like my story. I was a fat, out of shape kid with night sweats and heart palpitations, and had to switch that all around too. So I'm so glad you brought this up first, because this is something that most people don't talk about, is digestion, right? Digestion. Why is the gut so powerful? What is it responsible for? What are we doing to damage it, and what can we do to heal it? Loaded question.
Okay, so what is the gut responsible for? Everything. Our entire ecosystem of our health relies on the health of our gut and the good bacteria that we have in our gut. And more research is coming out now talking about how the health of our gut is related to so many autoimmune issues, inflammatory conditions, disease conditions, and just everyday health, depression, anxiety, all of those types of things are all related back to the health of our gut. What are we doing to damage it? living a normal life, pretty much. I think is
Living
in
a
the,
now life.
and now life in this day and age, and hustle bustle and stress and medications and even supplements and over exercising and not sleeping and stress and fighting and emotional tension and all of these things, act on our nervous system to essentially shut down our ability to digest food. And then, the undigested food particles, they sit in our stomach and they create little pores in the lining of our stomach. And that's what's called leaky gut syndrome. And so the food actually leaks out. If I want to paint a picture, the food actually leaks out of the lining of your stomach into your bloodstream and causes an immune system response. And so you're not supposed to have undigested chicken, in your bloodstream. And so that creates a whole cascade of hormonal disruption and all these irregularities, and ruins the lining of your gut and interrupts the good bacteria. So, stress, processed foods, even some healthy foods, if you can't digest them, they're not healthy for you. Right. So, the gut is everything.
That's powerful. Somebody described it really well to me. If you guys are listening and you're still not picturing what the gut is, you can imagine like your intestines have these things called villi, which is like shag carpet, right? And that shag carpet is responsible for keeping that food from going past that intestinal barrier, past that wall. And as we eat these nasty foods and stress and environment, this villi shrivels and shrinks. So you can imagine if you just shaved your carpet all the way down to that very, very thin layer that's underneath it, and that's all that was protecting your bloodstream from the food going into your body. And so that's such a powerful imagery, because it makes you realize, oh God, if I'm not eating good food, if I'm stressing out, if I'm not sleeping enough, if I'm over-exercising, if I'm consuming chemicals, breathing poor air, whatever it may be, all those things have an impact on that, and that's going to ultimately impact what you put in your body, causing a positive or a negative reaction. Now, what you just mentioned was really interesting, was sometimes you can eat healthy foods, but it's actually not healthy. And one of the things people always talk about is eating your vegetables, your raw vegetables, and these kale shakes and things become really popular, but people with poor gut health can't really digest that stuff. Tell us a little bit about that.
So a lot of my clients that I come and see at my clinic, and a lot of the clients that we consult with, through our different locations, are in the age range of 40 to 65. And when you're in that age range, you typically have experienced some level of stress in your life, and you've been on medications, antibiotics, all of these various factors, and you don't sleep adequately. And so your digestive system is compromised. When you are in a stress response, your nervous system actually shuts down your digestive system, which is where the anecdote, I guess, of don't go swimming for 30 minutes after you eat comes in, or you'll get a cramp, because the blood gets shunted away from your stomach to your working muscles, because it's a full body activity.
Right.
So when your digestive system is lacking the ability, whether it's because you don't secrete enough enzymes or you're stressed out, you actually can't digest food. And we know that raw vegetables, specifically raw fruit, proteins are very nutrient dense and they're very hard to digest. A lot of people can't have, for example, green pepper or raw broccoli because it's really hard for them to digest the fiber in it. They don't secrete, the enzyme to digest the fiber. And so it actually causes them digestive system distress in the form of bloating and gas, and sometimes even constipation or acid reflux. And so while trendy, guru type people are saying,
raw foods,
with all due respect, go eat this raw, and your digestive system is compromised and it makes you feel uncomfortable. What we really need to be working on is healing the lining of the gut so that we can actually digest these foods, because when you take the foods in and you don't digest them, they end up doing more damage than they do good. You can't absorb the nutrients in them anyway. So it's like you're just this gassy, bloated person walking around pissed off because this person told you to have a shake, and now you can't sit in your meeting because you have to leave, right, and you're not getting the nutrients anyway.
Right.
So what I want to let people know about is, what works for someone else doesn't always work for you, and you have to go by the way that you feel. And if you feel bad eating raw vegetables, then do something to fix your digestive system first so that you can adequately take in raw veggies. And there's nothing wrong with steaming your veggies.
Somebody's got to tell the pseudo gurus that they're wrong, right?
Not so much that they're wrong, it's just the majority of us have compromised digestive
Right.
systems.
They're speaking to the wrong person, perhaps.
Right?
Right.
Yeah. They're, I'd love to meet someone who experiences no digestive system issues, even in the form of, eczema, itchy skin, cracked heels, brittle nails, breaking hair. That's all digestive system.
Yeah.
So if you have zero health symptoms to speak of, then sure, go eat raw food.
Yeah.
Otherwise, work on your digestive system.
So let's dig a little bit deeper in it. We didn't mean to make this a call about digestion, but it seems like
No.
it's so important as that foundation if you really want to optimize your body, the way you look, the way you feel, the way you perform. So what can we do to build a powerful digestion? What food should we eat? What supplements do you generally recommend for people to get started?